Around shortly, we'll be bringing you our headlines. Sports, Sulum changes technique of deciding player of the season winner for this year. Now the news in detail. President Lazarus Chakwera has described smooth transition of power in Zambia as a clear demonstration of unity among Africans regardless of political differences. President Chakwera, speaking during the inauguration of the new Zambian president Hakainde Hichilema, said through the process Zambians have positioned themselves as champions of democracy and a beacon of constitutionalism. We have a report by Winston Kaimira. We apologize we're not able to bring you that report for now. Moving on with the news, Chief Justice Andrew Nyirenda says the request by the opposition Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, for the courts to nullify the 2020 fresh presidential election is constitutional in nature and should be a case before the Constitutional Court. A lawyer representing the party, Charles Muhango, says at this stage, Judge Sylvester Kalembera will need to constitute a panel before parties to the matter are summoned for directions of the case. The DPP argues that by nullifying 4 of the 6 make commissioners that managed the disputed election, the status of the commission was not legally binding.
It has been confirmed. Chief Justice Andrew Nyirenda has certified as a constitutional matter a case in which the main opposition Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, wants the 2020 fresh presidential election results nullified. A lawyer representing the party, Charles Muhango, says the Electoral Commission that managed the disputed election was not legally binding. This, according to the legal expert, comes in the wake of notification of 4 of the legally required minimum of 6 commissioners. He argues that the status of the MEC at the material time gave it no mandate to man any election. It is in this vein that the DPP wants the results of the said election nullified and revert to what the status was prior to the election. Put to him that some quarters argue that it is the DPP administration that flouted the law in the appointment of the commissioners, as such without benefit from its own abuse of the law. Muhango described the argument as moral and not legal. He insisted that the matter the DPP is presenting before the court is constitutional, with focus on the status of the MEC at the time. At present, according to Muhango, the judge president in the case, Justice Sylvester Kalembera, will constitute a panel with which to handle the matter. The warring sides in the case will then be summoned for guidance on how the case would progress. For Zodiak, Nasos Kasambara reporting.
Meanwhile, the Constitutional Court has set up a 5-member judge panel to preside over the petition by the DPP on the 2020 fresh presidential election results. Registrar of the Supreme and High Courts Gladys Gondwe says the panel comprises Judge President Justice Sylvester Kalembera, Justices Roland Mvundula, Dorothy Nyakaunda Kamanga, Annabel Ntalimanja, and Tom Ligowe. Gondwe says the judges are scheduled to meet on Monday over the matter. Still with the court, the High Court, sitting as a constitutional court, has dismissed an application by Norman Chisale, who wanted a preservation order restraining him from accessing his bank account varied. Chisale, bodyguard to former President Peter Mutharika, wanted the order varied so that he can be able to meet his living expenses and legal costs. For more details on the story, here's Piran Masanjala, spokesperson for the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs.
The court dismissed the application, noting that, in effect, the High Court sitting as a constitutional court will be varying the order that was given by Justice Zembo. And in accordance to the court, that is not what the Constitutional Court or what the referral from the High Court to the Constitutional Court was asking the court to do. And further to that, the court also noted that when the order was given on the 25th of February 2021, the order was to be effective until the conclusion of forfeiture proceedings or until a contrary order of the court that granted the order was given. So in this particular case, If Mr. Jisare wanted to make that application, we should have done so.
Business and economist Henry Kachaje is now new Chief Executive Officer for Energy Regulatory Body, Malawi Energy Regulatory Authority, MERA. MERA spokesperson Fitina Konje says there are hopes for continued consistency and efficiency by the organization in its operations. Kachaje replaces Dr. Collins Magalasi, who is currently answering fraud charges.
Mr. Henry Kachaje is now the MERA Chief Executive Officer. Mr. Kachaje, he is an economist, so yes, this is a rightful person to be in this position at the moment. Today is his first day in office, so yes, he's got a lot of work ahead of him. However, given the levels of cooperation that are there in the industry, meaning the cooperation between MERA and its stakeholders and the industry players, we believe that MERA will continue to execute its role as an efficient and effective regulator. And at the moment, there shouldn't be any worry about fuel supplies in the country. We are still able to import fuel. There are other importers who are able to bring in more volumes. And we know that NOCMA very soon or at an appropriate time, they will be able to iron out their supply contract issues and they will continue to supply fuel.
The Human Rights Defenders Coalition HRDC has hailed the Tonse administration for its decision to delay rolling out of toll gate fee collection, which ignited a public discussion after it was gazetted. HRDC chairperson Gift Trappens has since asked the Roads Fund administration to revise the toll gate fees. Nonetheless, Roads Fund administration spokesperson Masauko Ngwaluko insists Malawians should not focus on the fees but their economic impact. Maggie Mkemezulu filed this report.
4 days ago, a public discussion ensued following the gazetting of operations of toll gates in the country, largely on the timing and the harsh economic environment. Yesterday, the Minister of Finance ordered the Roads Fund administration officials to engage stakeholders before the actual implementation of the toll gates. The Human Rights Defenders Coalition HRDC chairperson Gift Trappens has told us that he is happy but was quick to appeal to the Roads Fund administration to consider reducing the fees.
There are 2 issues that we raised. The first issue that we raised about reducing the toll gate fees, I think they are on the higher side, considering our economy, but also considering what Malawians have been going through in terms of the COVID-19 pandemic as well. So we want the stakeholders to look at the figure that is at least realistic, looking at our economic status as a country.
Meanwhile, the Roads Fund administration spokesperson Masauko Ngwaluko has said that Malawians should not focus on the fees. Instead, they should focus on the development that will follow.
We need adequate resources. We need money. So if we are not correcting as per our forecast, we will not be able to meet the expectation of the road user themselves. So we are just looking forward that we should have resources that will adequately address the challenge, which is maintenance. So the question of let's reduce is not there.
The list of the toll gate fees shows that vehicles will be charged between 1,700 kwacha and 20,000 kwacha.
Communities from the area of Traditional Authority Maganga in Salima, who are along the lake, took to the streets protesting against lodge owners who are building fences, denying communities access to the lake. One of the protesters, Arnold Yusuf Salanje, says what the lodge owners are doing is infringing on their rights because their livelihood depends on the lake. Senior Chief Maganga has bemoaned the council's delays to convene a meeting with concerned parties to end the impasse that has been there for a long time. Joseph Mazizu, details.
The communities want lodge owners along the beach to leave space that will allow them to have easy access to the lake. Hundreds of them today took to the streets demonstrating against the construction of fences war to war. One of the concerned community members, Arnold Yusuf Salanje, from Mikute 2 village, says something needs to be done before it is too late. Meanwhile, Traditional Authority Maganga has lamented over the council's delays to convene a meeting for stakeholders to iron out their issues.
We are affected because, these things are disturbing the community because lodge owners are still doing it. But if the stakeholders meeting of the stakeholders can take place, I think this thing will be reduced.
However, spokesperson for Salima District Council, Grace Kabatuga, says the council is doing all it can to address the matter.
We involved our land section at the council, who got in touch with the regional lands office in Longwe. And as I am speaking to you now, a team of experts came last week to assess the situation on the ground and came up with a report based on what they found. The report has since been submitted to the Minister of Lands for his input. So as a council, we are waiting for the response from the minister. Once he responds, an action will be taken.
Reporting for Zodiak from Salima, I am Joseph Mazizi.
You're watching the news here on Zodiac. We'll be back with more after this.
We are Charismatic Private School. Charismatic Private School is informing the general public that it is opening day and boarding school at Filipina Memorial School. Charismatic School has kindergarten, primary and secondary school. The school has school buses which ferry learners around Lilongwe. Charismatic School has conducive learning environment suiting your child. Charismatic School is situated at Area 22B and Kapini, while Filipina Memorial Boarding School is situated at Area 23, Benito, Lilongwe. For more information, contact Charismatic School on the following numbers. Charismatic Filipina, creating brighter society.
Malawi Assemblies of God University, a reputable university registered and accredited by Malawi government through the National Council for Higher Education, is pleased to announce its August 2021 intake. Programs offered: Faculty of Commerce, Faculty of Education, and Faculty of Theology. For more information, contact 0884 538 163.
Malawi, awani masompenya amalawi watoto kula Malawi 2063 kufika 2063 kale wokomera aliyense achinyamata tikwirane manja kula Malawi achinyamata tikale patsogolo kula Malawi wozimira paeka Malawi wokomera aliyense. Malawi 2063 kusintha dziko lathu mokomera aliyense.
Mona Malawi anzanga, nkhondo yogonjetsa COVID-19 ndi ya wina aliyense. Tili limodzi. Ine ndinasankha kulandira katemera wa COVID-19 atangoyamba kuperekedwa. Chifukwa monga namwino, moyo wanga, umoyo wa odwala amene ndimawasamalira, abale anga, ndi dera langa, ndi zinthu zomwe ndimazika pa mtima panga kwambiri. Katemera wa COVID-19 anditeteza ine ndi ena omwe analandira katemerayo ku chiopsezo choti tingadwale mwakayakaya, kugonekedwa mchipatala, kapena kutaya moyo wathu chifukwa cha COVID-19. Kulandira katemerayo kutithandiza kuthana ndi mliri wa COVID-19 limodzi.
Dziwani zambiri za katemerayo ndi kupanga chisankho cha nzeru. Sankhani katemera, tetezani tsogolo.
Welcome back. A look at the headlines as we continue. President Chakwera describes the Malawi Police Service has reaffirmed its commitment to conduct fresh investigations into the Nsundwe, Mpingu and Mbwadalika rape saga following concerns from the general public on the impartiality of an earlier police investigations report. The earlier report indicated that there was no evidence on the rape allegations. Public Relations Officer for the service, James Kadadzera, says the fresh investigations will be handled by Independent Police Complaints Commission. Vanani Nyirenda reports.
The Malawi Police Service has reaffirmed its commitment to fresh joint investigations into the alleged rape and defilement of girls and women around Mpingu and Mbwadalika by some police officers in October 2019. According to a statement from the service signed by its Public Relations Officer, James Kadadzela, this follows concerns from individuals and other stakeholders questioning their impartiality in area investigations, whose findings described the allegations as baseless. Some groups and individuals have also questioned the impartiality of the police service as they were investigating themselves in the rape and defilement allegations. In the statement, the police said the fresh investigations will be handled by the Independent Police Complaints Commission to remove all concerns of impartiality. But governance expert Wonderful Mkuche has called for the establishment of an independent body to investigate the rape and defilement allegations following conflicting reports from the police and the Malawi Human Rights Commission.
We need to have a fresh and independent investigation. So far, we have had the police investigating themselves, and then we have Malawi Human Rights Commission and other stakeholders investigating, and they are giving us two different stories about the same issue. So what we can do now is to have another independent body to look into the issue and to try to give us really happen. Because we cannot just leave this matter knowing that some women who were allegedly raped have been compensated, and people are wondering that we jumped to some steps to reach to that conclusion. So we need to have an independent body that is going to look into the issue and give Malawians the truth.
While a police leaked a report on their investigations into the Msundwe incident, portrayed the rape and defilement allegations as baseless without evidence, an inquiry into the same by the Malawi Human Rights Commission found that the allegations were true. For Zodiak, I am Vanani Nyirenda.
President Lazarus Chakwera has told the Malawi Israel Gold Limited, which is venturing into cultivation and processing of cannabis in the country, that he wants action and not mere talk in efforts to boost the Malawi's new industry. The company's senior cannabis consultant, Gary Collin, said after meeting the president at Kamuzu Palace in Lilongwe that with the stand of the head of the state, the company is ready to roll out operations. We have a report filed by Winston Kaimira.
We cannot go wrong. And I can promise you one thing, the people will be very happy. If not, I'll close the business.
Senior cannabis consultant for Malawi Israel Gold Limited, Gary Collin. He's promising that his company shall pack and go if it shall fail to meet the expectations of Malawians on empowering local farmers in cannabis production. Apart from putting up a factory for manufacturing of various products, the company is promising to open a training institution where farmers shall be acquiring skills on medical cannabis processing. Collin says this shall turn Malawi into a medical tourism destination. He was speaking after an audience with President Lazarus Chakwera, where the company outlined its strategies to realize the vision of making Africa's first cannabis hub in Malawi. According to Collin, the president called for action and not mere talk in improving the Malawi's newly glazed industry.
With the blessing of the president, with the blessing of the Secretary of the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Agriculture, we'll have to cooperate with them, and we'll have to set regulations at the beginning. Education here, it's separate things. On the farm, we'll make medical cannabis, which is, as I told you before, it's a system. It's a very expensive one. But we are going to put our system to the local farmers that will work with us, or they will learn the procedure. Basically, it's a very expensive product to manufacture, and that's the reason that we will hold the center, in our hub, in our medical hub, a center which with the locals, the local farmers can use, and they are more than welcome to share, and we will do the electricity, we will do water, to increase everything, all the elements that we need.
This is Winston Kaimira reporting for Zodiac in Lilongwe.
We now move on to sports. The Super League of Malawi, Sulom, says this year's Player of the Season winner will be decided by a panel of specialists, but supporters will also be given an opportunity to give in their opinion. The winner, expected to be named in October, shall receive a Mazda Demio for a prize. Sulom President Diasomba Banda has told us the league runners will follow the same standards as used by FIFA in choosing the World Player of the Year to promote fairness. And that's how we call it a wrap. Before we go, let's look at the headlines one more.
At Mukuru, we make local money transfers easy. With over 600 Mukuru Orange booths and branches, you can easily send and receive money from friends and family anywhere in Malawi. Plus, there's more